Hello, everyone, and welcome to my narrated overview of my app. Here we're playing with the prototype, and we can go ahead and log into FreeForm. It is a very, very, very simple login process, nothing too fancy, kind of just looks like any other login process there is on any other app out there. After the login process, we're met with our home page. Our home page includes things like tutorial progress, which would take you to the tutorial feature to learn about free resources, which would also take you to the free resource feature, and then our community hub feature here. Some other things that we see on the home screen are upcoming tutorials. So these are some tutorials that would come up next, hypothetically, if I were actually to publish the app, a AI incorporated assistant, and then the your profile feature where you can go ahead and play with your profile and add different details about yourself. So to begin, let's jump into the tutorial progress. Here you'll be met with the design tutorial hub. This is super easy. It gives you an overview of the tutorial that you'll be completing. So let's go ahead and go into it. The overview of the tutorial for this week is in this week's tutorial, we will be learning how to create our own skateboard designs in one of our featured free design resources. We will also be going over how to mock up our designs using a free mockup tool. It's pretty simple. It just kind of gives you a outlook of what you'll actually be doing. So if you go ahead and click here on the tutorial progress and you see there's a little start now kind of indication so people know where to go, it takes you into the whole tutorial. So there is a total of 8 steps for this tutorial. And I decided to make it like this just to make it very simple, clean, and also keep a lot of distractions out of the way. And when it came to the directions, I wanted to make something that was pretty descriptive and concise because I feel like a lot of the tutorials out there today are very confusing and they don't actually give you what you want to know or what you want to hear, and it's just a bunch of gibberish. So we can go ahead and scroll through. So step one was just choosing our assets, and then step two would be importing our artwork into Figma. Figma is one of the free resources that I have on the app, so that's why I decided to use it for the design tutorial, and also just because it is a very creative, freedom-driven design resource that is also free. So we just find assets, drop them into Figma, play around with that stuff. Down here where I'm kind of circling around is just an overview of what you're really doing, or kind of just like a more descriptive instruction of the entire step. I decided to also add images just because I'm someone who learns a lot through visuals. So I would like to incorporate something for those people as well. That's why there is a bunch of visuals in the design tutorials. So step three is adding your assets and stickers to your template. So in that last step, we actually created templates that would perfectly fit our free mockup at the end. So now we're actually just playing around with putting the graphics into those templates, rearranging them, making things smaller so that they fit, and then adding other assets as well. And then finishing touches plus exporting your files. This is very simple. It's just adding the finishing touches to your design and then exporting them to a proper file type so that we could play with them in our mockup. And then step five was finding a free skateboard mockup. This is a super simple step. You just go ahead, go search online for a free mockup. And I also included a link down here to the mockup that was used for the tutorial just to help guide people to the right places in case they weren't able to find one on their own. And then the next step is just adding your designs to the mockup. So, like I said, it's very simple. You just go ahead, grab the file that you just saved from Figma, add it to this free mockup generator, and then play with it there. The next thing is ensuring that our design placement is correct. So that's just moving things around so they fit properly in the mockup. And like I said, I made sure to make the first step very, 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 how would I say it? Making the users very aware that they are making their designs the proper size. That way they don't have something that's way too big for the mockup or way too small. So that's why I chose the sizing in that first step to best fit this. And then finishing touches plus exporting our designs. So this is just adding the finishing touches. So on this mockup, you're able to play with the color of the top of the board and also the color of the wheels. So if people wanted to go ahead and play with that, they'd be able to play with that through the mockup generator. And then finally, it's just exporting our designs and actually having them for ourselves. So after we're done with step eight, we just click the complete tutorial thing and it just takes you straight back to the design tutorial hub. And then if we click on this fancy little logo that I decided to make for Freeform, it just takes us back to the home page. The next feature I want to jump into is the resources feature. So the three free resources that I decided to kind of show off and allow users to have a lot of access to were Canva, Figma, and GIMP. Canva, everybody knows about. Figma, it's kind of unknown in the design in some designers' minds, but I think that it's very upcoming today because you're able to do so much on it. And then GIMP was one that I completely did not know about, but it's honestly the best alternative to Adobe Photoshop that is free. So we can go ahead and jump into Canva. It gives you a little bit of what Canva offers, some stats, so it's easy. Um, it's a beginner level thing, and the program cost is free. And then down here, some reviews of people actually reviewing Canva. If you click learn more, we're able to learn about more about Canva. So some stuff about Canva's mission, their values, just so users actually know the platform that they're using and what the platform stands for. So I thought that was very important to incorporate. And then here, this is kind of like an inspiration page for users to see what you're actually able to make through these free design platforms. So I found some images online that kind of showed off other designers' designs that they've made through Canva just to inspire people and so they know that they could also be making cool stuff like this on a free resource. If we go back, it just takes us back to this page, and if you click the Canva button, it takes us back to the main resource hub. We can go ahead, quickly scroll through these. Same thing for each one. A little breakdown, some more stats. Figma's obviously a little bit more intermediate level since you're able to play with actual prototyping and website design, and then some more reviews. We can go ahead, same thing like Canva, we can learn more about Figma's mission, their values, and then a sneak peek at designs made through Figma. So the reason I wanted to incorporate this is just because I feel like it's super important for designers that are in that low income kind of bracket to actually realize that there are free resources out there for them to access and actually create on. And Adobe isn't the only platform out there that designers are using because Adobe is very expensive and it just doesn't make that much sense if you're a beginner to be paying that much money for something like that. And also, a lot of people don't make enough money to pay for Adobe monthly. So I thought it was very important to show off that. And it was also kind of just the main purpose of my app as a whole. So if we jump in here to the community hub, we can explore some community members. So hypothetically, these would be other users of the app that have some experience in the design field. They could be mentors to my intended users or anything like that. So the main one that I'm gonna kind of explain is this designer right here, Rick Owens. His role is animator and illustrator, and his experience is he has 3 years. He freelances and also helps out startup companies. His favorite tools are Figma, Blender, and Canva. And his little motto down here is inspiring others through design. So if we go here, pretty simple like profile page. The Meet Rick is just a breakdown of what Rick does, a little overview about him and his whole experience in the design field. And then down here we can look at his stats. He has 3 years of experience. He's had 13 clients and he has a 4.5 average client rating, which is pretty good. And then down here some client reviews of people that he's made stuff for, just showing that he actually has real proof of people liking his work. And then if we go ahead and click here on the message Rick, we're able to hop into this very interactive messaging system where users would hypothetically go in and talk to the community members to learn more. So we can go here and click on how can I get ahead in the design industry. There's Rick responding back to us. And then if we get here, he says, hi, getting ahead in the design industry is all about what you want to do. So if we go here and click, I want to be an animator, he'll talk more about that stuff. And then some more conversation and stuff like that. And then we can just say thank you. And that'll just take us back to the Rick Owens profile page. So the reason why I wanted to incorporate a design feature like this is just because I feel like the design industry is becoming a place where most designers are starting to gatekeep a lot of their work, a lot of the stuff that they use, a lot of their experience. So I just want a community that just helps people build off of each other and also connect with other designers in order to learn, in order to get advice, in order to know more about the creator they're actually getting into. I think that's very, very, very important because, like I said, the design industry is becoming a place where it's way too gate kept. So if we go ahead, we can go back. We're back here to our Explore Community Hub page. And then, yeah, that takes us back to the very beginning of Freeform. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this breakdown. I hope it was useful, and I hope that you guys in the future would like to use an app like this in your daily life.